Am I chopping up? Good evening. Welcome to another episode slash edition slash installment of Free Thinkers. I am your only sole host, Q. Nikki out handling some business, getting ready for kiddos, getting ready to go to school in tomorrow. And I don't know where Denise is. Denise has been MIA. I need to put an APB out on Denise. I don't know where she's been at. She can just I wouldn't say she ghosting us because I gotta reach out to her to see if she respond. But I ain't heard from Denise in a second. But we are here, and we're gonna get into some quick topics. We kind of it's almost like a mini break, a mini vacation from the digital space. But we still making it happen, and um I do still enjoy talking. So when it comes to talking and conversation, that never stops for me. So doing things like this, even if I'm doing solo, then it that's just what I do. What's the day? Tuesday. Um I do high IQ on Mondays. Even Sunday, once a month, we have a thing with the fellas called Cigar Sundays with my boy Blue and some other people, and it's a good time. So I found my passion and my calling, and it is cultivating relationships through conversation and maintaining a free train of thought. In a world, I've said this, I've been saying this for the last 10 years, and I literally see it happening. I said, as time and society goes on, the freedom of thought and the freedom of speech is going to keep dissipating, keep going away. It's going to get to a place where people actually speaking their mind becomes a foreign thing. And I see that happening right now, actually. And the crazy thing is, even in social media, it's manufactured. This is the part that actually makes me sick because you think a lot of people are speaking their mind, they telling their truth, they keeping it real, but it's manufactured because it's done with an alternate agenda. And that agenda is likes, that agenda is drawing attention to yourself, that thing, it's trying to say controversial things that may not even be your actual thought process, but you're trying to it's an instigating society. What can I do? And all of it is about in one form or another, what can I say to get attention and to stand out from what everybody else is doing? But when everybody is trying to do and say things in order to stand out, then it becomes more of the same. So um it's I've been saying that for the last 10 years and I see it happening over and over. But I am happy that free thinkers, we maintain our, uh, I don't want to say purity, but uh, we stay true to the conversation. We stay true to being real. What I thought, I don't know why what happened with my the color just changed. I don't know. I just turned real orange. Everything on my screen turned orange. Um, But we stay true to organic conversations, and this is just another example of that. So, even still, let me see. I'm only going to be on really quickly. This is going to be a 30 on thread version of Free Thinkers, but um, you are welcome to join as well. So, if you want to join on with me and give some commentary, then that's the StreamYard link below. Just click on that, put that in, type that in, come into the conversation, and I bring you in, and we just gonna talk about some of the things that's on our Facebook thread. So if you're not already on our Facebook thread, make sure you join that as well as our YouTube page. You can get in on the conversations. Now, like I've said many times, um, I don't get on social media as much as I like to, and I'm not even on a page, our Free Thinkers page, as much as I want to. And for me, it's kind of harder for me to interact through typing in text form. I may give or opinion, but I don't have enough words to give context to it. So I like getting on, looking at some of the posts that people put on there, and just giving some feedback and just thinking through it, and giving myself mental exercise as well. So feel free to join me on that. If you come on with me, just jump right in. I'm not going to be on long. Make sure you got something in your ears. Keep in mind, it could be adult conversation and adult content. Um, it just goes where it goes. So we're going to jump in. I'm going to look at some of these things that I haven't seen on our Free Thinkers page, and we'll go from there. Let's see. Let me blow this up a little bit bigger first. What do we got first? Okay, so this says, Well, yeah, this is Free Thinkers. This is what our page look like. So if you haven't seen, make sure you subscribe, join, and share. Also, before I jump on, because I might run out of time soon, every last Tuesday of the month, we do in-person Free Thinkers. That's the way we started out with our discussion group being in person, live, in effect, no cameras, no, we might take a picture here and there, but it's secluded. We have a different group of people who just like coming in person, really not interested in being on camera. We have some that do, some that don't, but this is the opportunity where you really get to, we're off screen, we're off camera. So, and the conversations get real good. They get real interesting. We will be at Spinners next Tuesday. So bring your appetite. Make sure you got a little money, get you something to drink, and we're gonna have a good time. Spinners is always a nice place when Brent's still we always rock with Brent first and foremost. Shout out to Brent. He's on newborn baby duty, so we making sure that he get to handle that, and we'll probably be back at his spot the following month, but this coming up Tuesday will be the last Tuesday of the month, and we will be at Spinners. So make sure that you look out for that. So let's get into the conversation. What we at? 848 members. Good. I like that. All organic. All organic. Um. Okay. So this I'm gonna back it up in a sec. It says the parents are incompetent. That's the header on here. All right. The parents are incompetent. Let me see what he's talking about. Okay, hold on. Tell us how you. Mm. Oh man, that was funny. Okay, so loser is a harsh word for me, but the essence of what he's saying is, what type of success do you expect children to have with the primary examples that they've been given? And if the primary example was uh, a narrow-minded, unsuccessful, undriven, unmotivated person, and then they have children, then 9 times out of 10, unless that child can be the anomaly or the exception to the rule, then they're gonna follow suit. It's the same. It's not even complicated. People try to make it complicated, and this is the part I hate because people try to point to the anomaly and say, "See, if they did it, then you can do it." So they'll point to Oprah Winfrey and they'll point to LeBron James, who had to overcome circumstances in order to rise above their upbringing and lifestyle. But for every Oprah and for every LeBron, then there's 100,000 kids who succumb. I don't know how to say that too. Um, just the cycle of what they were put in. That's why it's called a cycle. The parents will teach the children according to their capacity and what they know. So oftentimes, yeah, if a parent is unmotivated and they don't have a desire, then they don't. This is why you see a lot of people who, if their parents, if their grandparents and their great grandparents, if the great grandparent went to college, then the grandparents went to college, and the parents go to college, and then the children go to. It's an expected behavior as far as a lifestyle. It's not even a second thought. And then you'll see 3 generations of parents who didn't go to college, and then the first child who actually goes to college is such a huge thing. Like, oh my God, Johnny made it. He's breaking the cycle. He's breaking the curse. of our family not being able to get over that hurdle. That says good to the parents that we're trying to make our kids better than what we were. And see, in all honesty, that's the difference. Wherever you are, whatever hand you were dealt as a parent, your goal is how can I produce and put my children in a better situation, circumstance? How can I get them in a better place than I was? That's really the base mindset that a person needs to have. And the truth is, a lot of people don't have that mindset. You will hear a lot of parents who they don't have the desire for their children to be better than them. You even have some parents like, yeah, uh, my grandmama wasn't nothing, my mama wasn't nothing, and you ain't gonna be nothing. You'll have parents who actually tell their kids that. And it goes all ar so a lot of people who, a business mindset, entrepreneur, like a lot of people who start up their own businesses, it's usually 3 or 4 generations. Their mindset isn't, "Let me go to college and let me see get a good job." Some people who are raised that way have that. Other people, you know, my grandfather owned his own business. My dad owned his own business, and I want to. And the first thing that they're thinking, even when they get out of college, I mean, out of high school, they're not thinking about college or trade school or getting a job. They're thinking of what business am I going to start. And for those who didn't have that mindset passed down to us, that was the furthest thing from our mind. What's a DBA? What is an EIN? How do I get this? It's so many things that's just that we wouldn't even know, but for someone who's had it passed down to them is common knowledge. So he 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 called them losers, which was a little harsh, but uh, the sentiment of what he's saying is actually correct. So yeah, a little rough, but yeah, I'll get with that. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me get back out of this before it runs down a different thing. Okay. Okay. I got you. Hold on. Let's see what this says. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Hold on. Let me read. It says, so on this, it says, remember when parents had a problem with their children being paddled at school? Welcome to the next level of hell. The only lessons our kids are learning is that violence and cruelty is okay. Now, okay, that's 8 minutes. I don't have 8 minutes. That'll take up my whole 30 minutes. So I'm not gonna let me touch a little bit of this and jump around. I'm gonna be quick. She has a great voice, by the way. Her podcasting voice is on point. That's A1. The hell? Okay, I ain't even gonna go all the way. That is insane. I had no like what is going on with okay, so I could go one direction, but I'm gonna go real short. I'm gonna go real short with this. This is an example that is insane, but this is an example of do not take the rights that we have worked for so hard for granted and believe that now because we lived in a quote unquote civilized society that we can't go back to the Stone Age, that we can't go back to a Jim Crow era. There is a specific assertive agenda that's trying to get us to go back to those days. And if you're not paying attention and if you're not careful, they will slowly pull you back into those things. So that's what the argument. A lot of us free thinkers, we have the argument about voting and is it necessary? Does it work? Is it listen, you if you don't believe in presidential, you better find something that you need to vote over. You need to find something. If you don't believe in voting, you better protest and you better make your voice be heard and make your voice be loud on some level. Because this is an example of if you do nothing, if you get too comfortable and think that it can't happen, that it can't go back, these are examples of how it is some crazy, crazy people in this world. And the messed up thing is a lot of those crazy people are in very high places and in positions of power and positions of influence. And they will do shocking shock gloves. That's insane. That's insane. I'm not gonna get. I'm already 16 minutes. That I hadn't heard of that. That is insane. But y'all, you keep on saying, well, it don't matter. Just keep saying it don't matter, and watch this stuff keep getting pulled back. You keep saying it don't matter as you watch our voting rights being pulled back, as you watch gerrymandering and they redo redlining, but they just call it something different. Like all of this stuff, they keep taking us back and back and back. And we still think, oh, well, we comfortable. I'm in my air conditioner. I got my smartphone. I still have my rights. I can get on my podcast. I can watch what I want. I got my freedom of speech. Keep thinking that. Keep thinking that. And this is kind of one of the messed up parts, even with our society, is in our society, we have the ability now, even with social media, to operate in our own social informational bubble. And that's one of the dangers, even with social media and the cookies and the algorithms. And they feed you more of what you confirming information of what you already want to hear. So if you want to watch Real Housewives, and if you want to talk about racial, political things, if you want to talk about black things, you want to talk about food things, they're gonna keep feeding you of that which is interesting to you. Meanwhile, there's a whole nother world of stuff going on that you're not even aware that's happening because it's not making it to your feed because of the algorithms. It's just feeding you more of what you already want. You better be careful. I promise you, there's another world that is parallel going on and going in a different direction, but you don't know about it because it's not. We have been given the privilege of our own news information bubbles. Dangerous. Oh, all right, let me keep moving. That was yeesh. I'm gonna watch the rest of that later, but that was I can't. Yeah, and they're gonna be tasing them. They're gonna be tasing them soon. And where do you think they're gonna be doing that at? You think they're gonna they programming? And you know what school systems and what type of kids they're gonna be doing that to, and you know what type of kids they not gonna do that to. Okay, day 6. Nikki put this day 6. No power, Gary, Indiana. Pitch black darkness for miles. No gas, no food, no power. That's spooky. Okay, I'm not even okay. And yeah, see, and one of the things, and I'm not even gonna touch on this subject, but one of the things is also which I continuously say we are too comfortable. So yeah, now we're in American city. We're supposed to be the greatest nation in the world. We got 100,000 people. I'm just reading this right here. 100,000 people in Gary, Indiana are stuck and suffering. They've been without power for a week due to severe storms in the area. People are struggling. We the greatest nation and we can't stop stuff like that. And you know why they ain't gonna think about Flint, Michigan. They still ain't got the water fixed in Flint, Michigan. So if we're too comfortable and we haven't even put a demand on the government to make sure that an American city don't poison themselves to death by getting clean water and getting that is crazy. All right, I ain't got time to touch on that though. This looks like more of what Jules was just sent and was talking about. This is ooh, I'm trying to see if I can okay. For immediate release. Let me see. I don't read well, but let me see how fast I can read this. Port Arthur Independent School District is aware of concerns raised regarding the reported use of corporal punishment involving a Memorial High School student. The district takes concerns regarding student safety and the administration of student discipline seriously and is reviewing the circumstance surrounding the reported incident. Under PAISD current board adopted policy, corporal punishment is an authorized discipline management technique when administered in accordance to district policy and student code of conduct. The policy does not require a parent to provide advance written consent before corporal punishment may be administered. Rather, a parent who does not want corporal punishment used with his or her child may submit a signed written statement. So this stuff is in the laws, in the school laws that allows them to do that, and you may not even know it. See, you need to. So now you need to go check on your school. Like now, I'm going to have to go to my kids, my son's high school, my daughter's junior high, my daughter's elementary school, and now I'm gonna have to go back and look at the laws and find out what is your laws on corporal punishment. You would think in 2026 that stuff is not permitted anymore, but they had this stuff. A lot of these laws go back to the 60s, 70s, 80s, and they have not been changed. Even though they're not regularly enforced, they can be. And who do you think they're going to enforce them on? That's one of the reasons, and this is why I say this. Make sure you are consistently showing your face at your children's school, whether it's daycare, elementary, middle school, junior high. Because I'm gonna tell you this: everybody ain't right at them schools. All them teachers ain't got their stuff screwed on right. All of them teachers is not in the best. They not there for the betterment of children. Some of them there to get a check. Some of them are racist. Some of them are sexist. Some of them are a lot of things. Like the guy earlier said, they might have been losers. They were losers in school, and now they want to get. It's another position of power, just like law enforcement. People want to be in positions of power or positions where they can rule over other people. And people with that mindset usually take advantage of those situations. But back to what I was saying, you want to make sure that you're showing your face. I don't, I show my face. I don't do a whole lot of laughing and joking with teachers when I meet them. I'm not buddy buddy. I'm sending a nonverbal message that this child right here is being watched. They're being paid attention to. I am involved in their every move. I'm involved in their well-being. I'm involved in their life. And just like predators, child predators, oftentimes they look for the one who's nobody's watching. They look for the child who don't have that parent. The parent, they don't have a two-parent household, or the parent is working so much and they're busy and they're not paying attention to what's going on. They're looking for someone who could be a victim, and that it won't be noticed if they're being groomed or they're trying to be preyed upon. But you mess around, just show your presence as a father, as a mother. You let them know, no, I'm paying attention to what's going on. I listen to my kids. I'm a part of their daily affairs, and I know what's going on. I'm fair minded. I know what my kid does, and I know what my kid doesn't do. So you can't come to me telling me my kid did X, Y, Z if I know my child. There's certain things that even teachers will come to me. Oh yeah, your son did this, and I'm like, yeah, but that ain't him, no. You can tell me certain things. I'm like, yeah, he probably that sounds like him. I know he probably did that. But there's other things like, yeah, if he got into this altercation, yeah, my son doesn't start conflict. So we need to find out what else actually happened. Don't always be so quick. First of all, know your children. You really need to know your children. Then once you know your children, then you can objectively make a decision on, does this match the character of your child? Is this something that they would do? So those some of those things. But now pay attention. Pay attention to corporal. You got to pay attention to the laws that your school even carries. That's crazy, because some of this stuff goes back to the 50s and 60s, and they haven't changed these laws. I got 5 minutes. This thing go by so fast. Dr. Seuss. Okay, I ain't gonna get into that right now. I saw that Miss Rachel. I rock with Miss Rachel. I don't know what they talking. They mad because Miss Rachel is actually concerned about children. Is that we can't make this stuff up. She wanted to I don't know the specifics of it, but she wants to help the children in Palestine and wants to give aid and relief and support to those children. And there's people that got backlash again. You stupid. You stupid. Those are people who are so influenced by the media that you would even pick sides when it comes to children. How in the world can you, not in a free thinker mind, but how in the world would you think that a child of a certain race of people is more important than children of another race? Conditioning. We've been taught that in America since the beginning. And people just don't realize how conditioned they are. Okay, I'm running out of time. Let me keep what's this? I think I did. I saw this earlier. This is okay. Let me see. This might go to, if this goes to, okay, let me see. This going to Instagram. Okay, that's popping up Instagram too. Mhm. Okay, I'm just trying to read what it says. The Virgin Mary is traditionally believed to have been very young historically, and religious scholars around 12 to 16 years old. And when she became pregnant with Jesus, here's how scholars arrive at that range. Yes. Yes. Yeah, even it's fine. Mhm. Let me see what this says. Leviticus 15:19. And if a woman have an issue and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days, and whosoever touches her shall be unclean until the even. The passage continues to explain that anything she lies or sits in during that period is considered ceremonially unclean. A man who has sexual relationships with her during her menstrual period also becomes ceremonially unclean for 7 days. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so her statement is, does God not like women? So, what is ridiculous to me? First of all, she's saying things like, "It's not common knowledge." Anything, I pay attention to history, so anything that you look at from a historical perspective, then yes, that's absolutely what they did, and in some cases, they still do that in certain regions. What I think is ridiculous, is when people, because then she started talking about God. I'm like, do God got something to do with that, or is that just speaking of cultural inferences? This is what happened in that culture. Even when you're talking about Mary being a certain age, yes, that is wrong in our culture. In a lot of other cultures, even in our culture, at a certain time period, that those were things that were acceptable. Are we blaming that on God? Are we saying God don't like women, or are we saying that this was the acceptable cultural practice of that day? Even when you go to Leviticus, everything in Leviticus is okay. All right. I'm not going to blame her for that because there's certain things that people don't know how to break down. Everything in Leviticus was not a law of God. You had laws of God. You had the laws of the land also, and some of this stuff was just a law of the land. That's the way that they operated. So then that's when there was revisionist things when the Ten Commandments came in, and then they said, "Hey, all right, man has a lot of laws, but then we need to revise these things." So an eye for an eye, that was not a law of God. That was a law of law of the land at that time. There's laws of culture. I just don't know. I just don't know if you equate. You just want to be careful about conflating the two things. Some things are culture, some things are God. Um, and we did a show about this probably a while ago because I did this about history. Like how much do we give people a pass if they were a part of a thing and it was something that was culturally acceptable at that time, and now because it's not acceptable, does that mean that that person was bad or sinful or a terrible person or whatever you want to call it? And there, that was a good conversation as well. I just I'm not going to get on her so hard. I just don't. I'm kind of confused where the God not liking women or the statements that she made, even with Mary. How is that God not liking women because Mary was young? Like the two things are not connecting with me. Um, Now the Leviticus part that could be a different conversation, but some of the things is. I don't know. Like, oh, you know what? I guess that's a bigger conversation, and I think that's probably where I was trying to figure out where I was going with this. And I think every person has a different take on how much they attribute to God. So some people they don't subscribe to God, especially not religion. But some people don't even subscribe to God because they're like, if God was all powerful and loving, then why does He let so much suffering go on in the world? I Number one, I don't have the answer to that question, and number two, I don't subscribe God as the one who dictates the actions of every person that operates on this earth. I think a lot of this stuff is free will and mankind, men and women, we do some real heinous stuff. We do some real evil stuff. Some people attribute that to God doing it, God promoting it, God designing it, or God allowing it. I'm just not one of those people, but some people are. And for people like that, then those are the people who will make those statements. Oh, well, God hate women. No, I think men, a lot of men traditionally hated women. God hate black people. No, a lot of people traditionally, a lot of white supremacists hated black people. The God hate children. No, there's a lot of adults in the days who would abuse children. They hated you. I'm just not one of those people who attributes every action, wrong action, or every evil to God. And then they say, well, why did God allow it? I'm not, and I heard Neil deGrasse say something close to this. It's like you just have to redefine based upon what we see. Either God is not all powerful, or he chooses not to be in control of everything. We think God is in control of everything, but maybe he's not in control of everything, or he's not all powerful, or he's not all loving, like we say. Now, for my Christian people, and I'm about to get off here because I'm past my 30 minutes. For my Christian people, they'd be like, oh my God, how could you say God is not all loving? God is not all powerful. God is not all. The proof is in the pudding. You do have to reconcile some of those things. If you look at the human suffering that goes on in this world, then the way that we perceive love or the way that we perceive power, omnipotence, omniscience is not the way that we perceive it. Something don't line up. Either God really ain't those things, or the way that we have a skewed view of who God is and what God does. It's got to be one of the two, because he definitely can't be all loving and we see the type of suffering that go. You can't be all loving and all powerful and still allow the type of evil and atrocities to happen the way that they do. It can't be all three. Make it plain and simple. If I was all powerful and I'm saying that I'm all loving, there's no way in the world that I would allow evil, human suffering, children starving, people being taken advantage of, and some of the most terrible things that you've heard in a person's life. I, if I was all powerful and all loving, there's no way I can allow that to happen. So either one or two things. I'm not. The reason is why is it still happening in Q? Because I'm not all powerful. Maybe maybe I have a certain level of love to what I understand, but I'm not all powerful. Absolutely. Just some thoughts. I think that's a good conversation to expound on for another day. But I'm 6 minutes past my time. That time go by so fast. Goodness gracious. I'm actually trying to speed up. If y'all hear me on a regular basis, I'm actually trying to speed up I was trying to speed up talking so I can get through more topics, but I got through as much as I could in 30 minutes. So if you like these type of conversations, then make sure that you join us. Make sure you be a part of the conversation next Tuesday if you are out of the city, out of state. If you are, then make sure you come live with us at Spinners next week. We have great conversations. I'm gonna be I'll be on my best behavior. I think I had a little too much to drink and other things last time. I went over the edge. I had too much fun last time. I ain't going down that road again. I'm keep it mild this time. But yeah, make sure you come spend some time with us. And then also again, all of these topics were on our Facebook page. So join the Facebook page. Anything that's interesting to you, post it on our Free Thinkers page, and let us also join in and have a discussion about it as well. But until then, have a nice evening, have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.